Dawn does not arrive gently. It leaks into the room like cold water, pale and unwelcome, sliding across cracked plaster and the thin blanket pulled to her chin. The air smells of damp stone, old smoke, and fear that has settled so deeply it no longer feels sharp, only heavy. Somewhere outside, boots strike the ground in a rhythm too practiced to be kind. She counts them without meaning to. 1, 2, 3. Each step presses time flatter. Her hands are awake before her mind is. Fingers curl around a small object hidden in the seam of her coat, a button torn from her sister's dress, smooth now from being rubbed too often. Proof of before. Proof she was not always here. They had told them stories. Everyone had. Whispered warnings folded into prayers. Rumors passed like contraband. Do not look at them. Do not speak. Do not resist. The stories were never complete. They never needed to be. Fear filled the gaps. When the door opens, it does not slam. That is the first shock. It creaks, tired wood protesting softly, as if even the building is ashamed. A voice follows, flat, impatient, almost bored. She understands only fragments. Enough. Outside, the morning is gray and metallic. Trucks idle, coughing smoke. Other women stand in a loose line, shoulders hunched, eyes fixed anywhere but forward. No one cries. Crying feels dangerous now, like a sound that could be collected and used against them. The journey begins without ceremony. They are moved like objects that must not break, not out of care, but because broken things slow everything down. The road stretches on, each bump sending a reminder through bone and muscle. You are still here. You still feel. She thinks of home without images, only sensations. Bread crust, warm hands, a laugh cut short. As the truck rolls forward, she realizes the worst part is not what she fears will happen. It is the certainty that whatever comes next will change the shape of her silence forever. The truck stops without warning. Bodies sway, then steady. For a moment, no one moves. Silence stretches, thin and sharp, like glass about to crack. She expects shouting, orders, hands. Instead, there is only the engine ticking as it cools, a small, ordinary sound that feels strangely out of place. The door opens. Light pours in, real light, clean and wide. It hurts her eyes. She blinks confused, as if daylight itself has become unfamiliar. Beyond the truck, the world looks wrong. Buildings stand straight. Windows are whole. A fence runs unbroken along a road that shows no scars of shells or fire. Someone behind her whispers, barely a breath. This isn't possible. They climb down one by one. No one is pushed. No one is struck. That too is unsettling. Her legs tremble when her boots touch the ground. The earth feels solid, dependable, as if it has not learned fear. A man in uniform gestures toward a building. His movements are clipped, efficient. Not cruel, not gentle either, just neutral. She braces herself anyway, shoulders tight, waiting for the moment when neutrality turns. It doesn't. Inside, warmth wraps around her like a shock. The air smells of soap, actual soap, clean, floral, almost sweet. Her throat tightens before she understands why. On a table near the wall sits a loaf of bread, already sliced. Steam still rises from it, faint but undeniable. Her stomach betrays her with a low, aching sound. She lowers her eyes, ashamed of her hunger, ashamed of how quickly her body forgets fear when food is near. Around her, other women stand frozen, staring at the bread as if it might vanish if acknowledged. In her pocket, her fingers close around the button again. This kindness, if that is what it is, does not soothe her. It frightens her more than blows would have, because it makes her wonder what she has been taught to hate, and what else might not be true. Morning arrives with a sound she does not recognize at first. Cutlery, metal touching metal, plates being set down. The clink is soft, domestic, almost tender. It slips under the door and into her chest, where it lodges like a question she cannot answer. They are led into a room with long tables, real tables, scrubbed clean, their surfaces pale with age but not with ash. Bowls wait at each place, already filled. Steam rises. The smell follows. Potatoes, salt, something fatty and warm. Food that expects to be eaten, not fought over. Her hands shake as she sits. Across from her, a woman presses her lips together, eyes bright. Furious with tears she refuses to shed. Someone murmurs grace out of habit, the words stumbling, unfinished. When the first spoonful touches her tongue, her body reacts before her mind can catch up. Heat spreads, muscles unclench. Her stomach twists in gratitude and shame, both at once. She eats too fast, then slows, frightened by how desperately she wants more. Afterward, there is water, warm, clean, soap passed from hand to hand. The bar is heavy, white, smelling faintly of flowers. She turns it over in her palm, stunned by its weight, by the idea that something so simple has been spared the war. In the washroom, mirrors wait. She avoids her reflection at first, but it finds her anyway, hollow cheeks, eyes too old for her face. As water runs over her hands, the dirt swirls away in thin gray ribbons. She watches them disappear down the drain and feels something loosen inside her chest. Outside, through a window, she sees fields untouched by bombs. A man rides past on a bicycle, humming to himself. Life uninterrupted. That night, she writes by borrowed light. They do not shout, she notes, the pencil pressing hard into the page. They do not hurry us. I do not know how to carry this kindness. It feels heavier than cruelty. She closes the diary. In the quiet, a thought takes shape, slow, terrifying, undeniable. If the enemy can be human, then what is the war made of her? The letter arrives folded too many times, its edges soft with travel. She recognizes the handwriting instantly. Home, compressed into ink. Her fingers hesitate before opening it, as if the paper might cut. Around her, the room is quiet, too quiet, filled with the ordinary sounds of breathing, of someone shifting in a chair, of a kettle beginning to sing. She reads slowly. There is talk of ration cards, of a neighbor's house finally collapsing after standing half-burned for months, of her mother trading a silver spoon for a sack of turnips. Between the lines, there is hunger, cold, endurance sharpened into a kind of pride. She folds the letter again, carefully, and presses it to her chest. Outside this place, everything is still broken. Inside, the days have a shape. Meals arrive on time. No one touches her without asking. When she speaks, she is listened to, not closely, not kindly, but enough to remind her she still exists as a person, not a thing. That is the cruelty of it. At night, whispers move through the room like insects. Questions with no safe answers. Do you think they know? Do you think this is a test? Do you think we deserve this? She lies awake, staring at the ceiling, counting the distance between heartbeats. Gratitude creeps in where hatred once lived, and she despises herself for it. Each kindness scrapes at the walls built inside her, loosening bricks laid carefully by years of belief. In her diary, the words come out smaller now. I'm afraid to go back, she writes. Not because of what I will face, but because I will carry this with me, because I have seen that the world did not end everywhere. She stops, pencil hovering. If the enemy can offer bread, soap, silence instead of screams, then the war has lied to her. And if the war has lied, she wonders what else inside her has been shaped by untruth. Sleep does not come easily after that, because once a belief cracks, it does not break cleanly. It fractures, and the pieces are sharp. The announcement comes without ceremony. A name is called, then another. Her own follows, spoken carefully, as if names are fragile things here. She feels it land inside her chest before she understands what it means. Movement, transfer, the next stage. No one says freedom. No one says return. Words like that feel dangerous. She packs what little she owns. The button. The diary. A borrowed scarf that still smells faintly of soap. Around her, the room hums with restrained motion. Women folding blankets, smoothing hair, pressing palms together as if heat might be saved for later. There are no embraces. They have learned how easily bodies remember. Outside, the sky is clear. Too clear. She stands at the edge of the yard, breathing in air that tastes almost sweet, and realizes that captivity has done something she did not expect. It has slowed her, given her space to notice, to feel the weight of a moment without immediately fearing the next. A guard nods, not unkindly. It is a small gesture. Ordinary. It follows her like a ghost. On the vehicle that will take her away, she opens her diary one last time. I thought cruelty would be loud, she writes. I thought it would announce itself. But it was the quiet that changed me. The way kindness unsettled me more than violence ever could. The engine starts. The ground begins to move beneath her again. As the place recedes, she does not look back at the buildings. She looks at her hands. They are steadier now. Scarred, yes, but still capable of holding, of choosing. She understands something then, with a clarity that aches. One day in captivity did not end her suffering. It did not redeem the war. It did not erase what was taken, but it shattered a lie. And that fracture, small, invisible to anyone watching, will haunt her far longer than fear ever did. Because once you learn that humanity can survive even here, you can never unlearn it. Years later, the memory still returns without warning, not as images at first, never faces, but as sensations. The weight of soap in her palm while bombs fell somewhere else. The sound of cutlery touching plates. The way silence could be filled with dignity instead of fear. She is older now, her hair streaked with gray, her hands marked by work, by time. Yet some nights, when the world grows too quiet, she is back there again, standing between hatred and kindness, unsure which one is more dangerous. People ask her what captivity was like. She never tells them about the men. Not directly. She speaks instead of mornings that smelled wrong for wartime, of bread that arrived without shouting, of the way shame can bloom even in safety, how guilt can grow when survival feels undeserved. What haunts her most is not what was done. It is what was not done. The war taught her to expect brutality, to brace herself for it like weather. But that one day, the day everything paused just long enough for her to see, clearly, taught her something. Far harder to live with. That evil is loud, yes, but goodness can be unbearably quiet. In her final diary entry, written long after the war ends, she writes slowly, deliberately, as if each word must justify its existence. They took many things from us, she writes, but they also gave me a question I will carry until I die. If humanity can survive inside war, then what excuse do we have for losing it in peace? She closes the book. Outside, children laugh. A train passes in the distance. The world continues, imperfect, fragile, painfully alive. She presses the old button into her palm one last time, not as proof of what was taken, but as evidence of what remained. And that, more than fear, more than hatred, is what still keeps her awake at night.